My good-looking face should come up right now. Right, so yeah, Danny Ng, founder, head of product at Sin7. So I actually thought you guys were going to have headsets on, so I had this joke about being the captain and being on the plane. So hello, this is Danny here, your captain. For the next 20 minutes, you're going to experience awesome presentations and maybe some turbulence. So remain in your seats unless you're busting out of the toilet. Now that's out of the way, I'm on the main stage, so I'm pretty happy. Right. So 2 days ago, my partner manager here sitting in front of me says, hey, I'm doing this presentation at Microsoft about AI. Can you look at the slides? And I go, yeah, all right, because I spend most of my time developing product and dealing with customer issues. And then I said, hey, Scott, I think you missed out some slides. And he goes, oh, no, this is it. We're going to keep it simple. And I go, oh, OK, well, it's a complicated topic, AI. So I thought, I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to give this AI a go and create a presentation. So what I'm going to be talking about is, hold on, let me fast forward it. Oh, that's what we're about. So I'm going to talk about our experience with AI. And AI is quite a weird thing. So, the more I think about it, I go, okay, AI is a weird thing, so I'm just trying to describe it the best I can to you guys. And the first thing that popped up was this joke that I heard at high school, and I think it must be in the curriculum, whereby, you know, bond with your students, tell them this joke. So this joke is, there's two explorers, they're in a jungle, they encounter a tiger. I think everyone's heard it, but this should make sense to you. They encounter a tiger, and one of the explorers puts running shoes on, and the other explorer goes, why you put on your running shoes? You can't outrun this tiger. And I goes, well, I don't need to outrun this tiger, I just need to outrun you. So I'm not an expert in AI, but I think I could probably outrun you guys. So don't take what I'm saying as like the gospel of AI. It's just what we have learnt over the last few years of trying to tackle the subject. So what is Sin7? You know, we're the #1 omni-channel ERP, so that's what we're striving to be. And what does that mean? It means that we do a number of things. We're like a point of sale, we're an inventory, and we're an integration platform in one. Sin7, the name stands for Connected Inventory, if you're wondering what it sounds like or what it meant. All right, let's move on. So the market has changed. Obviously, you've got Jeff, and you've got Amancio Ortega, which owns Zara. And you know, they're not obviously spending their time figuring out what to sell and when to replenish their products. Obviously, their systems do all the work. So I believe we all need to be data and AI companies. But what does that actually mean? You know, what are some practical steps? So the first thing is, when you think about AI, I think about data from the enterprise. You know, so I thought, yeah, that's artificial intelligence. But in reality, the most artificially intelligent thing that I've encountered recently is this automatic vacuum cleaner that sucks stuff up as it's bouncing around the carpet. So I think what I'm saying is artificial intelligence is this big word, and it's like you aspire to be, you know, as intelligent as possible, but in reality, you can do some really simple things that can benefit your business. So don't think artificial intelligence, you need to have this Android running around doing all your work. If you can figure out a small thing that does a routine that helps you out, that's also what I consider artificial intelligence. The other thing about artificial intelligence is actually it's bloody hard. You think I'm just going to do this artificial intelligence thing, and I'm going to be muscly like The Rock. Well, it's not quite like that. So that's you, and that's your goal: fully automated, artificial intelligent business. So I'm just going to cover a couple of prerequisites that, I mean, as a company, we're actually still stuck in what I call the prerequisite stage. What can I do to get, you know, to reach my artificial intelligence goals? So this is the main prerequisite. So with artificial intelligence, it's all about your data. If you don't have good data, you're not going to have artificial intelligence, because artificial intelligence effectively is just helping you crunch data to make good decisions. So before you can do that, you actually need to have a centralized, timely, accurate system that holds all your data. So you need that first. So before you get into artificial intelligence, that's what I believe. So How do you achieve that? There's two ways that we tell our customers, look, there's two things you need to do for your business. One is to integrate everything. And second thing is automating the manual stuff. There's lots of things that you do manually, and there's lots of things that are not integrated. So before you even jump into artificial intelligence, you've got to sort these two things out. What does that actually look like? So for us, being an inventory system, we believe the future of inventory, we just think everything is omni-channel. So you actually need what I call an integrated omni-channel system. So when we look at retail, like physical retail, we go, forget retail, everything is omni-channel. If you're online, it's omni-channel. So when we say omni-channel, we mean a system that's connected to all your marketplaces, like Amazon or The Iconic, your e-commerce, your manufacturers, your suppliers, obviously your reporting system, your retail stores, your logistics, and your EDI. And for those that don't know EDI, EDI is how you communicate with your trading partners, like your bigger suppliers or your bigger customers. So I think that this will be one of your first goals, is to have everything integrated. Once you have everything integrated, the next thing is for you, what I said, automate the manual things. For example, branch replenishment, drop ship, and things like that. Now, I guess you're wondering why you need to do those things first. I think for artificial intelligence to work, you need your data to be as accurate as possible. And I still remember, I think it was about 2 years ago, we were in Seattle, and we happened to meet a couple of Amazon guys. And they're dealing with these multinational companies, tech companies that are selling millions in dollars, or tens of millions of dollars on Amazon. And they're saying the biggest problem these companies have, these are tech companies like Logitech and Intel, their biggest problem is their data is not central. They actually don't know where their data is. So one of the guys said there was a heated meeting in Amazon that the Amazon people, you owe us like about $500,000 because we did this marketing campaign, but you guys ran out of stock. So if you guys had sold all the product, we would have made this profit. But because your stock ran out, you guys owe us this much money because we did the marketing. So even big companies don't have their stock in order, even though they're massive, they've got money, their stock isn't fully integrated. So they actually don't know where their stock is at any one time. So as I said, before you get into artificial intelligence, you've got to sort out your integration and your automation, which in theory means that your system has got the most accurate data at any point in time. And I guess one of the reasons why you sort of need this is I guess my CEO, I didn't actually get to go to the US this time around, and he spoke to a company who is a distributor of sporting equipment. And he said that, and he's talking to the owner, which is a billionaire, he says, look, 3 years ago, we had about 300 distributors. Now we have around 80. He says next year, we're probably going to have 10 to 20 distributors, big ones. And we've got this big warehouse, and he goes, guess where we're putting it? We're putting it next to one of the Amazon distribution centers. And he says, look, in the future, we believe you need to go direct and sell on Amazon, whether being vendor or seller, and also have a few key distributors if they're around. So even within the US, it's all changing. And what it means, I guess, for you guys, even if you're in retail, or wholesale or whatever, I guess you can't ignore the Amazon sort of threat. So what it means is you've got to get your systems in order, because to compete with Amazon, you yourself have to be just as smart as them. Otherwise, obviously, you can get caught by the lion and eaten. All right, let's move on to AI. So the term is a bit weird, and I've never really quite liked it. So what we call it is automating the thinking. So after you've automated the manual stuff, which should be a no-brainer, you should automate all that stuff, the next thing is, how do you automate the thinking? And that's what we think about when we think about AI in retail or in inventory. So, which gets us to the next question. AI is complex. It's everything. So what questions do you ask? So AI is about getting answers, but before you can get answers, you've got to ask the right questions. So within Syn 7, there's two main questions we're trying to help our customers ask. is what is the best way to replenish my stock? And how do I improve and personalize the customer experience? So these are the two big questions, I guess, we ask ourselves in this area called AI. Because you can ask whatever you want, right? But these are the two questions that I believe are the ones that will impact our customers the most. Now, there are questions that we don't answer because I believe it's too hard or not answerable. So the reason why I put replenishment and not forecasting and things like that, we believe forecasting is too hard, and it's quite hard to get proper answers. So we believe in the future everything has to do with replenishment, shorter cycles, not big, long forecasting cycles. So for us, we didn't think we can answer the forecasting question, but we can answer the replenishment question. So what it means for you guys is, I think the forecasting question is quite hard. It's easier to go, how can I shorten my supply chain and build what I call a more replenishment business? Because anything that's too risky, you shouldn't do, and you shouldn't try and figure that out, because I believe it's too hard. And the other thing I think is really ultra important is, how do I improve and personalize the customer experience? Now, these are questions that we are asking, so I don't have all the answers for this. I just have some of the answers. So what do we do next is, so after you've asked the question, the next thing is, what is the least amount of data I need to answer these questions? Because you've got two questions, then you've got to think about, okay, what am I going to feed this AI machine, or what am I going to feed this routine so I get the answers that I want? Because you can't feed it everything. You can't feed it random stuff. You've got to feed stuff that it can get and give you the answer. So as I said, AI is quite new. It's in its infancy, so you really got to spoon feed these AI machines or these AI sort of routines that you find on Azure and Microsoft. But you don't just have to use the Microsoft routines, you can create your own. So when I say AI, I just mean a way that you can automate some of the basic thinking that happens in your business. So in terms of product classifications, this is not the be-all and end-all of how you should classify your products, but this is what I've come up with after, I don't know, almost a couple of years of on and off thinking about forecasting. So I thought, what are the key things that we need to do to classify products? So I chucked the product score in there, and I'll explain that later about what that means. So with products, you usually have a type and a subtype, whatever that means for you and your business. So it could be dresses, black, or it could be dresses in a certain shape. It's up to you. There could be 3 tiers. I don't think you need more than 2 to 3 tiers of product classification. Then there's a price range in terms of, what prices sell at what range, and then sizes. I'm not saying this isn't everything in terms of to do with products, but these are things that we have found. These are the key things that you need to have in your products that figure out most of what you need from a replenishment perspective. So let's talk about product type and subtype. So why is that important? Obviously, people buy certain product types and obviously buy them at certain ranges, and sizes don't often change either. So these are things we think are quite static. They don't change that often, whereas colors change a lot, fabrics can change, but usually types, subtypes, price ranges don't change that much. It means products within these classifications can be substitutable. So it's important for you guys to know that products change, but customers' buying patterns for those types of classes of products are quite predictable. So you shouldn't have a system that is fixated on one type of SKU, because SKUs change. So within this range, within this product classifications, products should be able to be substitutable, i.e. season 1, season 2, well, we're going to make so many black dresses of this size and within this product range. So whatever it is for your industry, the classifications, the big tick is, products within here are substitutable, and that customer would buy this product or that product. Stock replenishment, also the other thing I spent a lot of time on. How do you figure out how you should replenish your stock? How do you structure your data so this AI machine doesn't get overloaded with crap loads of data? So what we have found, it could be different for you, weekly buckets by location is the easiest thing to figure out. So what we do is we put everything into weekly buckets, week 1 to week 52. Because week 1, you know, is always New Year. Week 52 is always the end of the year plus Christmas. So Black Friday is always one of the weeks. I'm not sure what week it is, but we believe in terms of forecasting, predictability, and understandability, weekly buckets is sort of a good place to put stuff in. You can try daily, it's too much. Monthly is too long, but weekly buckets is pretty good. So weekly buckets are what? Pretty much product sales by SKU, your stock positioning in terms of this product in this store, you sold this much and I had this much stock left of it. Because often you sell out. Stock turn, I sold these products turned this amount of days, and then discounting. Why discounting? Well, obviously you don't want to replenish, and you don't want to replenish stock that has been heavily discounted or been sitting on the shelf for a long time. And sometimes when you run out of stock, you got zero positioning, or you got no stock, and all of a sudden your machine goes, you haven't sold this product, therefore I'm not going to replenish it. And the reason why there's no sales is because actually the stock ran out. So, as I said, based upon what our customers want, these are sort of the data structures we're going to use to help them replenish sort of their SKUs. Right. Customer experience data. I guess the first thing for everyone is just make sure all your customer data is in one place. Obviously, that's quite difficult. You've got online, offline data. You just got to centralize all that stuff. I've added another thing called a customer score field. I'll use it again. I'll explain that in a second. So with AI applications, I just see there's two main things that you will use AI for. Either your own AI, you figure out your own routines to be smart, or you plug your data into some sort of Microsoft sort of routine that helps you figure some stuff out. So one way is it helps you make a decision. Or the other one is it prepares the data to help you make a decision. So the reason why we put a product score in and a customer score is if you throw a whole crap load of data at some sort of routine, it could potentially give you a score. And that score can help you make a decision on, oh, okay, I understand what this score means, therefore it can help me create some other routines that can help me make some better decisions. Because AI is not necessarily going to help you make some of the nuanced decisions, but it can help you prepare your data so you yourself can make a decision. For example, give me all the customers that have, 10 as a score. And then you get a list, and then you or whoever can go through that list and make some decisions. So as I said, AI can be used for both those things, making decisions or preparing data to help you make decisions. And I'm just going to give you some examples of what we use. I mean, it's not AI in terms of, an Android running around doing awesome stuff. But as I said, we've got a whole bunch of data, and we've got a whole bunch of routines that figure this stuff out for our customers. So the first one is order routing with AI. I think it's quite basic if you've got one online store and one warehouse. But as you get more complex, we thought back in the day having one website was about all you would ever need ever. But now we've got customers that have like 20, 10 to 20 websites. Some of them are wholesale, some of them are retail, different ones in different countries. And obviously, once you get more complex and you have more warehouses, like 3PLs, your own warehouse, third-party logistics warehouses, and retail stores, you do need a bit of logic to plug in there. I've downloaded these orders. Where should I send them? For example, click and collect. It's a bit of a pain. Customer goes, I'm close to the store. I want to pick up that order at that store. But obviously, there's only a 30% chance that store has that product. Unless you're a supermarket that sells the same thing everywhere. But in terms of clothing, it's not a high likelihood you're going to have the complete order in that store. So your logic has to go, okay, this warehouse that's close to the store has the stock, so I'm just going to route those orders into that store. And then you've got to have another mechanism to tell the customer, come pick it up because the order is available. So this is an area we spend a lot of time on. How do you get all the orders from all your channels, download them all, and route them to the most best place to fulfill that order, and i.e., save you money and make the customer experience a whole lot better. Purchasing, obviously another big one. What should I buy? How much should I buy? Obviously, you create purchase orders, goes to supplier, supplier sends it to your warehouse. So as I said before, the data structures we put in place, we put everything into these weekly buckets. We crunch that data saying, okay, well, this product is running out across all my stores. The supplier actually doesn't have this product anymore, but he has other products that are similar. I'm going to buy those instead, substitute it out, send a purchase order in, and send it to these places that are most likely to sell that stock. So yet again, there's some routines you can use. You've got to prep your data, run some routines, and the routine will figure out, what should I buy, how much should I buy it. But yet again, without you prepping your data, you can't create these routines to figure that out. Oh, I think this is my last slide, actually. Repositioning stock. So that's the other thing we spend a lot of time on as well. So where is my stock best positioned? So for people that have 1 or 2 stores, it doesn't really matter. Obviously, we deal with customers with lots of stores, 10, 20, 50. And you have stock just sitting there. They just sit there. Nobody's buying it, but nobody actually cares because it just sits there. So yet again, you've got those stock replenishment sort of buckets and data that I talked about before. If you can analyze that data, then it goes, I was talking to a customer that has, is in Sydney. So within a certain suburb of Sydney, they just got smaller people. And then on another suburb of Sydney, they got bigger people. So what happened often for them is the stock doesn't sell. Well, the small sizes sell out of the store, and the small sizes don't sell out of another store. So if you have the data correct, you can run some routines, and it creates some branch transfers and go, look, this sizing is more likely to sell at that store. Here's a purchase order, transfer the stock to this store. Oh, hold on, I'm getting back to another example I totally forgot. So getting back to the order routing, another practical example was, I guess if you're in fashion, at the end of the season, the warehouse, the stock runs out. But each store has some of that stock. So the warehouse, at the end of the season, warehouse is running out of stock, but each store has stock they have not sold. So if you can gather all the stock from all your stores and push it online, if you have the proper routing, the order can go to that store, and that store can fulfill that order. So we don't actually recommend sending orders to retail stores because they're busy taking orders and they're not the smartest people when it comes to fulfilling orders. So yeah, it's a bit tricky. But at the end of the season, you should definitely send that order to the store because they've got to get rid of that stock. And the likelihood of somebody walking into that store buying it is quite low. The reason why is because that stock didn't sell. Therefore, the likelihood of somebody buying it is quite low. So it's a good practical example of that. And it's not, this order routing thing isn't necessarily rocket science. It's not like sophisticated AI, but it'll help you save a lot of money. Move it forward. Oh, that was quick. So I guess I can leave with this. I think AI is a bit of a journey. So I guess for me, you should start playing with AI now because it's a long journey. So for us, I wouldn't say we're halfway in. We're probably at the beginning of this particular journey. And I guess AI is different to different people. And yeah, that's sort of the Sin7 journey and the journey that we have of our customers. That's it. Thank you.